and you are now our driver.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning, where I can present what I call my illustration about the future in the collision repair industry and how to position yourself with sustainability. I'm getting a little background noise. If we could mute our phones, it would be awesome. So what would bring sustainability to your business? Yeah, we got to stay abreast of the changes in the industry. They're happening every day, and there's probably some that happened since we started this call. Keep forward thinking, constant improvement. You do that through training, getting certifications, and developing some best practices that support your ambition. How I see our industry today, man, there's some people that are still hanging out in this world, trying to fix cars the way they learned 30 years ago. And as we know, that just doesn't work because they need to be here. Modern facilities, well equipped with skilled technicians. When I was talking about this presentation, I thought, what better illustrates it than this book by Dr. Johnson about Who Moved My Cheese? Because it kind of illustrates some of the people that I have met as we've talked about how the industry's changing. We have those that sniff out the change early. They've been very, very proactive in upgrading their equipment and changing the way they build their business, as well as the people that are scurrying into action to find out exactly what they need to do to be better in our industry. But sadly, we still have some that deny that there's a need to change, mostly because fear of the unknown. They don't know how to move forward. And others that are taking it a step in time, doing a little bit here, a little bit there. But unfortunately, I feel those two groups of people are going to be left behind by those that are really working to improve their business and make the industry a great place to work. So what created this shift? I talked with Scott Biggs. I talked to him really a couple times about this. And he really narrowed it down to 4 things. The first is commonization. It's just where all the body shops were kind of working the same. They were all in this one nice little happy place, fixing cars, making money. Didn't do a lot to differentiate themselves from each other because they had the business and life was good. But then things started to change. OEMs recognized that there was a lot of negativity around bad collision repairs. And they spend a lot of money on marketing trying to retain customers while collision repair was kind of thwarting their efforts. Then the next thing was liability. We learned that no matter who does it, if we're involved in it, the liability lies with that collision center. Then the thing that really ties this together is a majority of the shops just didn't have the equipment they needed to protect themselves from this liability or do a repair that didn't bring negative results. So the collision industry conference created a collision repair provider definition. As you can see, there's no A repair facility, there's no B repair facility, there's no C.
I know.
You're either a collision repair provider or you're an advanced repair capable provider. And they came about this through a group of volunteers from all corners of the industry. And they created this to benefit the industry and make it a better place to work. Through this definition, they have promoted training and illustrated it as a major focus. And as you can see through this focus, it's OEM procedures, it's following manufacturers' refinish training, it's adhering to OEM body refinish mechanical repair procedures, it's gaining training through places like ICAR, the OEM, maybe AMI. All of this tied together to create the technician that can repair today's vehicle. And we're doing that through a couple different agencies. I was on the phone with Armin Price the other day, and they're making some changes in the gold class requirements, and some of these PDP roles are going to shift. They still have the individual platinum, which then allows the business itself to become ICAR. Additionally, AMI has stepped up, and they're offering recognition programs and accreditations for the office manager, the estimators, the facility manager, all at the request from OEMs. And as we work on this training, you can see that some OEs are keying them to themselves, while others are using ICAR and AMI to bring their training to the forefront and make it available to more and more people. And then through this emphasis of OEM processes, everything is driven to the OEM. It all points back to the OEM. Even if we use a third party, they have to make and meet the OEM specifications for that year, make, and model of the vehicle that you're working on. There's no wavering. There's no if. It's a must. So as we're talking about OEM certifications, these 4 questions are the ones that I get asked routinely. Who do you pick? Just how do you obtain these certifications? What will their investment be? And then how will I benefit?
No video.
You could do market surveys. Find out what the registrations are in your market area for each particular brand. Maybe it's a brand that you do a lot of repairs for now that you want to get certified in. You can run a report in CCC, Mitchell, or Autotex. It'll tell you the number of vehicles that you repair and what model they are. You can use that information. Look in your neighborhood. See what other shops have certification. And like in this Sullivan County snapshot, you might not want to jump into a Toyota, a Ford, or a GM certification, but look at the number of registrations available for Fiat and Chrysler, for Subaru, for Hyundai. As you tie all these pieces together, you will find an OE certification that fits your needs, fits your markets, and fits with a little adaptation your business model. So you don't have to rush out and get many of them. I always suggest to people, try 1 or 2. Find out your prime OEM that you want to get certified for. Find out the requirements for that, and then match that to your business model and see how you'll adapt your business to be able to move forward with OEM certifications. Several different ways to get them. OEMs requires dealer nomination. Some OEMs, you have to be a dealer. Others let independents. Toyota will recognize an independent shop. Why, to be certified, you need to be in a dealer. Good Performance will help you with a variety of them. But again, regardless of how you approach it, there's strict requirements, as you can see. And one of the areas that is kind of new is that estimator management training requirements. Talking with Jeff Peavy, he's been approached by several OEMs to provide this type training, and that's why they developed these programs. The good thing about the AMI programs is that it gives you credit for your ASE and your ICAR training and tries to put it in one tight little package. But it's going to be important, just as you have certified technicians, to have certified estimators that know that vehicle model, know exactly what damage can occur. As they're looking at these vehicles, what else could be damaged behind these covers? What kind of sensors, what kind of cameras, what's going to need to be recalibrated, what's going to need to be replaced? We're growing in the ADAS system. Very soon it's going to be over 50% of the repair is going to be related to ADAS, either repairs or calibration to make these vehicles. So we're going to have certified people that know how to identify this damage when they're doing their damage appraisal. Again, the certifications, a lot of checklists, a lot of training requirements. Lifetime warranties. We give it lifetime warranties forever. But do we have aluminum repair requirements? Are we actually ICAR Gold class, or have we been on the road to Gold for a couple years? Do we have any vehicle-specific training? A lot of people answer that question, no, they don't. And the biggest circle on this certification is you're going to have a performance reporting capability. They're going to watch how you repair these vehicles. They're going to understand how, if these repair processes were pulled, if the repair processes were followed, and they're going to have that documentation as they do your reviews for recertification. So you don't get certified and then everything's good. They are going to follow that up with reporting that will hold you accountable to the certification. You can get a selection of OEM certifications through Assured Performance. I like this form. It's available on their website, assuredperformance.net. You can print this out and walk through your shop and just see, hey, where am I in relationship to becoming OEM certified? To some people, it's a wake-up call because they're not even close. But other shops are finding that they're about 80%. And by maybe upgrading some equipment, redesignating some repair areas in their shop, taking a few more ICAR courses, completing that ICAR certification will get them what they need to be able to get certified and start the road to sustainability. And within this collision repair provider definition, having a modern shop with updated equipment is going to be standard. Welding equipment is probably top on that list. I've seen shops that don't have resistance welders. They're still welding everything with plug welders. Being able to publish OEM body specifications, whether it's through the estimating system, whether it's downloading it off of your car liner, your Chief, your Spinese, whichever one of those, and be able to measure that vehicle accurately. Three-dimension measurement is critical in these unibody cars now. And the most critical thing with that is that you have to be able to measure the vehicle while you're doing the straightening process. Four-wheel alignment, whether or not you do this sublet or in-house, most of the ADS requirements are after a four-wheel alignment's completed, whether or not a wheel was hit or not. So we have to have that capability. A spray booth. Some think that's elementary. Everybody's got a spray booth. No, everybody does not. Restoring corrosion protection is vital. There's some good videos on the Collision Hub website, just specifically about corrosion protection. When I go into a shop to do training, I like to stop by the jobber and see how much cavity wax that shop actually purchases. And then I talk to them about corrosion protection. They say, yeah, we do it. And when I say, show me, they really can't. And then I can use the information from the jobber. He says, well, you're not buying any, so I don't know how you're using it. And that's one of the most critical things we can do in a repair. And following that up with pre and post vehicle scans. A lot of discussion on this. Should you be able to do this in-house? Should you have to have all the equipment? Can you use an aftermarket scanner? Can you use a connecting device? We have to do it, and following the OEM procedure is the best step to do it to meet this requirement. What will my investment be? I wish I could tell you that getting OEM certified was inexpensive, but it's really not. It's a big investment. You have to determine your return on investment, amortize that out for, I suggest, 5 years, and make sure that you can sustain that expenditure. Looking at Mercedes, they have 3 different programs. And Nissan, you can get the base Nissan, or then you can get the additional for GTR. You can get GM, then you can get the additional for the Cadillac. So look at these programs and find out what is involved, and maybe just get in on the ground floor. As you can see here with Mercedes, the base will authorize you to perform all collision repairs on all Mercedes-Benz passenger vehicles with the exception of aluminum structural repairs. To do those repairs, you will have to become elite. And then to work on their Sprinter vehicles, then there's another certification involved. All of them have different requirements with frame equipment, specialty tools, welders, dent repair, glass repair, all the way down to the paint system and the spray guns. Then to be elite certified, you will need different types of welders for these, the aluminum product and stuff like that. And I got asked a question at SEMA. I was taking a customer around and we're looking at welders, and there was the same welder. It was just 3 different colors. And I explained that they all have a little bit of peculiarities to them, but one of the other things the OEMs want is they want their equipment to stand out. They want their equipment to be standardized, and they're somewhat programming you to, hey, if I've got to do all this for one, I can't afford a second one where I have to buy a different welder and different this. It's kind of playing, they want you to be dedicated to them and trained specifically to repair their vehicles. And then as you move into the commercial vehicles, there is some more equipment you have to buy to work on the Sprinter vans. So how will I benefit? What will you get after you've gone through all this certification process? You've met all the core requirements. Well, we know there's the repair standards. We know we're going to follow the repair procedures. But the biggest benefit is the collision repair networks. How they're raising the bar for collision repair shops by telematics providing that first notice of loss. This is becoming big in GM and Mercedes, a variety of OEs, how they're using telematics to notify shops through your estimating system, and then the vehicle owners contacted about where their vehicle is so they can notify the insurance company. It's not, some are doing it already, but in the very near future, there'll be many more doing it where the car is moved to the repair facility that is best engineered to complete the repair damage. The vehicle owner signs off on that, the insurance company is notified, and the repairs will happen at that certified shop. So by connecting vehicle owners with certified collision repairs, the OEs are controlling the repair process from day one. They're not getting into it after the fact. It is happening right after the accident happens. Another thing is that you'll have access to structural repair parts. Volvo's notified repairs of this restriction. Audi's on its way if they haven't already. BMW has always, so has Tesla. And they will help you market your facility. Simple Google search of Volkswagen repair brings up the certified collision centers first. Tells you exactly where they're at and what their capabilities are when you click on the individual center. This will be golden as customers more and more use their phones and social media type outlets to find out where they should be getting their cars repaired. As you go through all these things, how are you making people know that you're different? How are you promoting the fact that you're OEM certified, that you're an ICAR Gold Class facility? Maybe you're family owned. There's a lot of people that reach out looking for family owned businesses. And then how do you promote it? Are you telling people you're going to save them their deductible? Or are you telling them how you repair their vehicle? Helping educate that customer through your advertisement and your marketing will really make you stand out from the people around the corner from you. Explaining to a customer how you repair the vehicle, showing them step by step what to expect throughout this process will mean a lot more to them than providing free estimates and just telling them that you guarantee the repairs. Because you are going to meet by accident, but you want to make the customer prepared through your advertising and marketing to understand what is happening throughout the repair process. The more you can illustrate to that up front, the better you will be through that repair process. Once you have that dialed in, as you're marketing your difference, you have to understand where people will see you. I've seen body shop, collision center advertisements on shopping carts. I've seen billboards. But one that really stuck out to me, you'll have to forgive me, it was a couple of years ago. I believe it was in Columbia, South Carolina. I was at a hotel doing some paperwork, and I kept hearing people cheering. I'd hear the crack of a bat, and I tell you, I love baseball. So I looked out my window, and I saw a Little League field out behind the hotel. So I shut down my computer. I went and started watching the different teams play baseball. There was 8 different fields there. As I wandered through, I came across a snack bar. And as I'm walking up to order the traditional hot dog, I noticed a sign next to the menu that said, "This snack bar provided and maintained by," and I can't remember the name of the body shop. And I said, wow, that's pretty unique, you know? So I ordered my hot dog and got a soda, and when I went to the window to pick it up, there was another sign that said the exact same thing. And in this collection of ball fields, there was 3 of these separate snack bars. They all had the same signage. They were all painted the same color. And I figured, you know, this is a team's color or community color. When I got back to my hotel room, I Googled that body shop. And what I found out was all that signage matched his collision center. The snack bars were painted the same color as his collision centers. Now that is a true visual that will be carried on. People will recognize his building by what they saw at that snack bar, the colors. He identified and created a brand by sponsoring those snack bars in that ball field. And I just thought that was pretty genuine. And I wish I could remember the name of the shop. This picture here illustrates some marketing work I was doing with the shop. We had used a Microsoft program that kind of pinpointed the addresses. Now, I used a generic photo, so we weren't in anybody's neighborhood. But we found 3 distinct areas that were in blocks of his shop that he was not reaching. He was not pulling any work from those 3 areas. As we dove into those areas and looked at his marketing, one of the areas was a strong Hispanic area that his marketing did not touch. Another group was a group of professionals. It was a office park full of professional offices. As I introduced him to this book by Kelly MacDonald, who talks about how to market to people not like you. We all market to people that we understand. And as I read this book, she talks about how we don't live in a mixing bowl environment like we were taught. It's really a salad bowl. And all these different pieces make up our community. But we have to understand it's as important to know who we're not reaching as it is who we are reaching. And because that could be a bigger group of people. It's nice to know you're reaching all these people, but who are you not reaching? That's what will define your difference and help you understand your difference by knowing who you're not reaching. As you develop best practices, I like this book by Dave Dunn because it illustrates 4 distinct principles that should be in every best practice: honesty, excellence, accommodation, and profitability. And honesty is very simple, and it has to begin at the top. And it should happen across the board in every transaction we do. But what I like what he says about excellence, and it should not be confused with quality. Quality is good, but we must meet the expectation of the customer. And he describes in his book that can only be achieved by mastering excellence. You be better than the standard. Be the standard, be that professional. When he talked about accommodation, I actually called him and said, Dave, I understand some of this, but what do you mean by accommodation? He says, it's very simple. It just means come to an agreement. Understand the customer. And then make sure you deliver to that agreement that you made with the customer. And sometimes that means doing a little bit more than expected. But it always means responding to the customer's needs. He went on to say it does not mean that you got to bow down to the customer, give them everything you want, but when you can't give them something, you need to explain to them why not. And that's all in coming to that agreement with the customer and make sure that you're making those decisions with the customer and keeping their best interest in mind. There's some things we can't do for a customer in our industry. We can't cut corners. We can't save deductibles. We have to help them understand that there's only one way to repair a vehicle, and that's the way that's dictated in the OEM repair procedures. Then on his last point, he says, never apologize to anybody to be profitable. You will not stay in business if you're not profitable. There's no reason to give up your profit just to get a job in the door. You set your standards, you set your profitability standards on every job, create your repair process, your damage appraisal, and make sure that you can maintain that profitability. That's how you keep employees. By running a profitable business that allows you to keep improving the workplace, keep promoting them as they improve, and just be open about it. You're a business. And really don't be ashamed about it. And if you have to turn down a job that's not profitable to you, your employees will thank you for it. Because you're going to ask them to do a different repair than you've trained and you've expected them to do, which really circles us back to that honesty. Trickles down to excellence, and we can only accommodate people within certain limits. And we have to maintain those limits through best practices. Being consistent with our best practices if you ensure everybody knows the purpose behind the best practice and they know that you always follow them and not when it's convenient. And I built an acronym for this for a customer to help drive the point. Always, accountability and loyalty will accommodate your success, while sometimes leads to sporadic obedience and makes efforts turn into mediocre existence and stagnation. You cannot grow by following your principles sometimes. As soon as you leave a gap where, well, we don't have to do it this time, then your employees will say, hey, you said I didn't have to do it here on this job similar, I won't do it here. Then you create a chasm in your principles, a big hole that is hard to build a bridge over to bring everybody back in line. So make sure everybody knows the purpose behind the principle and then hold them accountable to always. How do you implement change? I'll bring you guys to another book. Our iceberg is melting. I don't think our iceberg is melting, but it's absolutely changing. And for us to succeed in this new environment, we are going to have to change to move forward. And out of this book, I've pulled this table, the 8-step process of successful change. You have to set the change, and you do that by developing the guiding team. I always like to think that there are those informal leaders in any group. Need to make them a champion to help create that sense of urgency to set that change and help you develop that strategy and that vision as you're deciding exactly what you need to do. And as you empower others to act by using that champion, you will communicate that vision, you will gain that buy-in, and you will develop those short-term wins. anytime you can create opportunity for short-term wins, you're on the road to successful change. And the only way you're going to make it stick is you have to create the culture for it to adhere. And that's by following everything above. You can't let up. If there's a problem, stop the presses, gather everybody up, recommunicate that vision, regain that buy-in, help everybody understand the vision and the strategy, and go back to that champion and have that person help you redevelop that guiding team. You might do those first steps several times. It's not going to be a continual forward movement. And John Cotter talks about that in that book, that you might have to take some back steps. You might have to find a way to stop, rethink your process, gain a short-term win to help create that culture as you refocus on your vision and strategy. I don't think this is a step-by-step process. I take it as a circle. You're going to have to continue to revisit some of these things to make it stick, and continually work on that culture as you work to move forward. And I say, going through all this, today's the day to take control of your business. I also think today, in the current environment we're in, some shops are locked down. Some people are doing exciting things like training. I've received requests for a 5S presentation, so a shop owner can help guide his people just to work on the shop. Today is not only the day to control your business, today's the day to look and take a good look at your business. I do not think that we're going to come out of this shutdown, reset, however we want to describe it, the same way we went in. We will do business a little differently on the other side of this than we were doing prior to entering it. So look at where you are. We have to move past status quo. We have to get past him and haw. We have to scurry. We have to put ourselves together. Look at our agreements. Do those agreements benefit our business? Do they fit within our perimeters? What about our non-negotiables? Visit the terms within liquid amalgam. Can we use those to re-engineer our business? And I say, don't worry about what you know today, because some of you are saying, wow, I really don't know what I don't know. And you're not the only one. So don't limit the majesty of your dreams to your current level of competence. Know that all the education you will need will be available along your journey. There are a lot of educational opportunities available to you to get you past what you don't know. So don't be discouraged. Stay challenged. Take a look at your business and move yourself past status quo. I thank you all. Christian, if you want, we can open this up to some questions.
Yep.
Everybody is free to email me. And I'll tell you, I'm kind of a butt. If my phone rings and your name doesn't pop up, I'm probably not going to answer it, because I've had so many discussions with Angela about my vehicle warranties that I just don't want to talk to her anymore. But if you leave me a voicemail, I will respond.
Awesome. So I'm looking in the chat room. No questions in the chat room yet, John. I don't know if anybody has a question they want to unmute their mic. I got everybody muted, but you can unmute your own mic and ask a question. We'll give you just a little bit of time. Awesome. So Roberto's telling you in the chat room that you killed it, John. So got a little virtual high five going on there.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, it is going to be a lighter day than what we've had. So we're back again at noon Central Time with Refinish Solutions Group, which if those of you guys are not familiar with that name, it's kind of a co-op, so to speak, where brands like Fuser and Norton and Hutchins and some companies have all come together and kind of formed this little conglomerate that helps everybody. So Refinish Solutions Group will be back this afternoon at noon Central Time to talk about material and inventory management. So at any given moment, you've got, $300 to $600 of body materials going on to repair these vehicles, and how you can inventory manage that and then turn that into entries into your estimates for compensation. So that one will be at noon. And then John, you're back with us, and I'm going to apologize. You may know off the top of your head, you're back with us in a week.
I thought it was the 22nd.
Okay, the 22nd.
Let me look. I can glance real quick.
Nope, you are correct. So you are back on April 22nd with us at 1 o'clock to talk about planning to improve your efficiency in the shop. So doing, I always hate to call efficiency's not doing more with less than efficiency's just doing things right in a efficient manner. So
exactly.
Yeah, some people think efficiency means we're going to push more cars through the booth. No, we're going to learn how to do things quicker, the right way the first time, right? So
do what you're doing better.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, John, we'll see you back on the 22nd, and then for the rest of you, then we hope to see you today at noon when we talk about management of materials. This is a huge one. Shops always think we're geniuses when we add this to their estimates, and I take credit for it, but that's okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.